David's heart sank as he stared at his phone, the text from his wife T still glowing on the screen. She'd invited her mother to nursing school family night instead of waiting to see if he could attend. The sting of rejection burned deeper knowing the complicated history between him and his mother-in-law, M, who had spent years making it clear she believed he wasn't good enough for her daughter. This was T's second attempt at nursing school, and David had been nothing but supportive. He'd attended every important event during her first try, cheering her on despite M's constant disapproval. M had never hidden her resentment, treating David and his family with cold hostility, convinced he had stolen her precious daughter away. Now, when T could have chosen her husband's support, she picked the woman who had made his life miserable for years. "I got off work early," David explained during their heated phone call that night, his voice breaking with hurt. "I could have been there." But T brushed off his pain, defending her choice as if his feelings were irrelevant. The wound deepened when T casually mentioned her dinner plans after the event. She'd gone out with Jay, a classmate she'd known for exactly 1 week, along with M and Jay's mother. The detail that made David's stomach drop. This 15 years older stranger and his mother had paid for everyone's meal. To David, it screamed date, not casual friendship. "I'm not comfortable with this," David said, trying to keep his voice steady. The image of his wife being wined and dined by another man while his own mother-in-law watched approvingly felt like a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. T's reaction was explosive. She accused him of being controlling, of trying to sabotage her friendships, of not wanting her to succeed. Her words cut deep, twisting his legitimate concerns into something ugly and possessive. She painted him as the villain in a story where he was simply a husband feeling replaced and disrespected. The situation took a bizarre turn when T, apparently seeking validation, told Jay about their argument. Jay's response was swift. He couldn't be friends with a married woman outside school due to drama. David felt a mix of vindication and frustration. Even this stranger recognized the inappropriate nature of their dynamic. Yet T couldn't see it. David thought the matter was closed. Jay had drawn appropriate boundaries. T could focus on her studies, and their marriage could heal. He was wrong. 3 weeks later, David walked through his front door to find his wife crumpled on the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. Jay had sent another text. He couldn't even maintain their in-school friendship anymore. The drama was too much. T's reaction was devastating. She spoke about increasing her antidepressants, about losing a precious friendship, about how David had ruined everything. She spent days in a depression so deep that David wondered if he was witnessing a breakdown. The woman who had minimized his pain now painted the loss of a 1-week friendship as a tragedy requiring medical intervention. "She lost a friend because of me," became T's narrative to everyone who would listen. But she conveniently omitted the dinner that felt like a date, the older man paying her way, the boundaries that even Jay recognized needed to exist. In her version, David was simply a jealous husband destroying her social life. When David tried to comfort her, his touch was rejected. His words fell on deaf ears. The woman who had once promised to love and cherish him now looked at him with the same resentment her mother had always shown. Every attempt at reconciliation was met with blame. Every expression of his hurt was dismissed as controlling behavior. David found himself trapped in a nightmare marriage where expressing discomfort about his wife's relationship with another man made him the villain, where supporting her dreams wasn't enough if he questioned her judgment, where her mother's approval seemed more valuable than her husband's feelings. He stared at their wedding photo on the nightstand, wondering when their partnership had become a battlefield. When had loving someone become synonymous with accepting behavior that felt wrong? When had his wife's happiness become more important than their marriage's foundation of trust and respect? The man who had stood by T through her first failed attempt at nursing school now questioned if their relationship could survive her second try. Not because of the academic pressure, but because somewhere between family night and a stranger's dinner invitation, he had become the enemy in his own home. Have you ever felt like the villain for expressing legitimate concerns in your relationship? How do you handle situations where your spouse prioritizes others' feelings over yours? Share your thoughts. When does supporting your partner cross the line into accepting disrespect?